Welcome. He plays David Oppenheim, not to be confused with that movie earlier. David Oppenheim in this, and he's so good. Matt Bomer. And you all know her, twice nominated for Academy Awards, and so many great performances that she's given. She plays Felicia here. Please welcome Carey Mulligan. I have 4 people still to go, even 1 seat here. The co-writer, the director, the co-producer, and the star. How about that? 4. It's all the same person. Welcome, guys. And, man, congratulations on this film. I got to see it early on with the spectacular sound. This must be seen in a theater if you have any opportunity. Don't miss it. The way this has been constructed, this whole movie, it's just so good. We're going to take a look at it before we talk about it and give them a taste of it. You probably haven't seen it. How many have seen it? Yeah. So you're in for a real treat. Take a look at Maestro. Second directorial feature. Not bad, Brett. Not bad at all. I mean, and just extraordinary. You could tell from that. You've been fated to do this, I think, since you were 8 years old. Is that right?
Well, maybe. It's fun. Just thank you for being here. It's a privilege for us. Yeah, I was watching it. When you're growing up and you're watching movies, the ones that really stayed with me were ones where I couldn't believe there was a camera there. That there's no way this has to have been really happening. And just even watching the trailer. It just felt like when we were doing it, it didn't really feel like acting, and it really felt like we were part of something that was very special. And I just feel so privileged to have been able to be a part of this. Really, it's life-changing.
And you were always, you got like Santa brought you a baton when you were...
He did, yeah. I asked for a baton. I used to watch those cartoons, Looney Tunes, with Bugs Bunny conducting, and Tom and Jerry, and I spent embarrassingly too many hours just pretending I was doing that as a kid, and even into my adolescent years, and maybe even college. And truly, I had that baton. I just lost it like a year ago. I don't know where the heck it is. I know. But my daughter just asked for one for Christmas, which is hilarious. I know. She's like, I want a baton. I was like, yeah. I didn't know it was called baton back then. I was like, the thing that Bugs Bunny's holding that makes music. And so I had all these years of being obsessed with it. So I think that certainly made it more easily for me to be able to believe this sort of illusion and this beautiful journey as Lenny.
Yeah, and of course the 3 Bernstein kids were very much in favor of your concept for this film, and all the way through shooting it and now in promoting it, and saying it's authentic, it's real, it warts and all, it has it all. You're not shying away from stuff. There are many famous Hollywood movies about musical geniuses and other people that sort of cheated on the facts. You were not going to make that movie.
Well, it was just, truth is the thing that lives, and everybody, these incredible actors just brought truth based on love. I mean, it was just truly a love for this. And I think the kids early on, they took a chance with me because I didn't know what I was going to write at the time that they gave us the rights to the music, but I did share with them my sort of passion for conducting, really. That was it, and that I was going to then research and find the story. And when I first came to them and said, I want to make a movie about your parents and your mother, they were really shocked. They were like, and I don't even know if they really believed that it was going to be a movie very focused on Felicia. So I think that they were very happy that we were able to unearth this incredible woman, this mother of theirs, and put her for you all to see and get to know.
When I saw it, I realized...
Hi, Carey Mulligan.
Carey Mulligan, so magnificently. Which brings me to that. When I saw it, I realized this is not a biopic of Leonard Bernstein. This is a love story. And complications and all of that in this marriage. And it comes through, and it's actually thrilling to watch. And Carey, you're part of the reason it is. It's a great performance here as Felicia. And I understand you traveled to Chile even to meet relatives and people, and really put a lot of time in making this authentic.
Yeah, I mean, that was the it's so amazing just to watch it on the thing, and I pinch myself sometimes that I'm in this, but yeah, we started talking about this in 2018, and that's when Bradley asked me to come on board, and in that conversation he said, all I'll ask of you is that you give this your everything, and I won't ask you to do anything that I won't do myself, and like, he did everything, the most preparation I've ever seen, regardless of directing, producing, writing, like the most preparation I've ever seen from any actor ever to do this part, which you see when you see the film. It all makes sense why it had to be. But so I wanted to meet him there as much as I could. So and she was such a fascinating character, and the more I learned about her, the more I wanted to learn about her. The more I wanted to, see. She was an actress. She wanted to be an actress. She wanted to come to New York, but to know where she arrived, I needed to go back to where she came from. So I went to cheerleading, met her amazing family, heard incredible stories, and the Bernstein kids were just the whole way through just such an amazing inspiration to us. But yeah, the more we learned about them, the more we wanted to learn.
And every time we spoke to some people, I must have interviewed 30-some people, and they always talked about. They never said sort of, Lenny and then his wife. It was always Lenny and Felicia. They came as a duo, and that was always it was so powerful, and you could just see in their eyes and their voice the experience they had knowing them and how privileged they felt to have known them, and they really were this just incredible energies.
I don't want to give away too much, but there is an incredible scene with you watching him conduct Mahler, and you see that with no words. And I just thought that was the essence of great screen acting to me, because we knew everything going through her when you did that, and you weren't relying on dialogue to show that. I thought there was so much depth.
Thank you. I mean, I had something, we shot that very close to the end of our process, so we had these years together talking about the film, and then we finally got to, the proper rehearsal that we had, and then shooting it, and that was one of the last things we shot. And I was watching Bradley conduct the London Symphony Orchestra, really, so there was that, which no small feat. I mean, I didn't even know the beginning of what conducting was, but to watch all of the culmination of all of his efforts, in that moment, and then the journey that we'd been through as characters, and we'd shot almost everything else in the film by that point, and it was one of the last things that we shot. I mean, was that our last?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it was the last time we were on camera together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the last time we were on camera together. Was that moment? So it really was like the culmination of everything, and just kind of extraordinary to witness, and it was kind of the end of that story.
What I loved about your filmmaking technique here too, when I literally knew, I love going into a movie and not knowing anything, and so I went and I go like, did he shoot this whole movie in black and white? Because the first 40 minutes are in black and white, and it's for a reason, and the aspect ratios change for a reason as the eras go on. Matt Bomer, you're in black and white in this movie, and that I thought was interesting, to tell the relationships there, because right off the bat, you do not try to hide the fact that he was bisexual and involved in other relationships, which is so interesting in the complications of his life and his loves, but his true love. Talk about getting to play David here and this opportunity with Bradley.
It was such a beautiful experience all around. I was so fortunate that a great deal of their lifetime's worth of handwritten correspondence is available in the Library of Congress. So it was such a beautiful, private look into their world, and the shorthand they had together, and the love and respect they had together, and the similarity of their ambitions, and their points of view on the world and how to succeed in the world. And but anything, honestly, I got to do in this film is such a testament to Bradley. His process as a director is electric and alive. And I remember when we were meeting, you said to me, you won't catch yourself acting in this movie. And I thought, wow, how does that happen? And then suddenly you're on set, and he's conducting the set as beautifully as Lenny would conduct the orchestra, and you're surrounded by these insanely talented actors, and it's just all happening in the moment.
Talk about close-ups, with no dialogue. There's such little real estate that we have dedicated in this movie to their relationship, and it's only because of this actor that we were able to tell that story with so much power. One of my favorite moments, there's a moment where Lenny, sort of without any sense of consciousness, introduces Felicia to him, and they're also involved with each other intimately, and I just, it was always, I just always wanted these 2 close-ups, and you don't even see Lenny. He's just back saying, "Oh, was that insensitive of me?" And just that, you know, so much so when you're working with these incredible actors, you want to sort of be audibly excited, and you don't, because, you know, you're going to mess up the take. But I was right there because I'm in the scene, but I'm also going like, "You nailed it!" I just have to control myself. But it was just so beautiful to watch him in that moment, you know, that moment when he's taking it all in, and the movie just wants to stay with him, and I'm just so lucky that he agreed to do this film.
Yeah, you see it, you're exactly right. You see, some of your best scenes are without dialogue, too. There's when you're with the musicians and things like that, too. You mentioned the correspondence in the Library of Congress. Did you actually go and research that and get a hold of those letters? And
I actually hand wrote out every letter I could find that was within the time period that the film took place. And I would even give one to Bradley on the day if it was pertinent to the scene we were working on. It was just
everybody did such a tremendous amount of preparation, and you know, that's just so thrilling, because I loved it so much, and I was able to start 6 years ago on this project, and then Carey came aboard with no script 4.5 years ago, and we went to Philadelphia and narrated Candide for 6 days free, and, and she agreed to do that, and everybody just put in all of this tremendous work that normally you don't have that sort of prep time and availability of all these artists to come and do this work just for the love of the game.
Yeah. And, you know, I got props to Kurohazu.
Kazuhiro, yes. Oh, yes.
The Japanese, they do it backwards sometimes. But he's brilliant. He's a genius. And he did all the prosthetics, the makeup, and
applied them all himself with a few of his team. And again, he signed on, I think, 4 years ago. I spent weekends at his house, you know, putting on the prosthetic, and my daughter playing with all of his sort of paintbrushes in the background for 7 hours. Thank you, Leah, for being patient. And we did tests at Disney Hall 3.5 years ago. We did 5 looks in 24 hours. I mean, just to make sure I didn't look like an SNL sketch. And it was just unbelievable. And we just kept working. And even during the filming, because we would show up at like 1 or 2 a.m. and crew call wouldn't be till 7 or 6:30, and that's where we would create Lenny, so that Lenny was ready to go at crew call and I could direct the film as Lenny. And it was just this active process. Every day we were always trying to get it better, and he just never gave up, and always trying to improve it, always. And that was just so inspiring to be working with him.
what I loved about his work and with you in it is you weren't wearing a mask. You could see your eyes. You could see that. But it's such the essence of Leonard Bernstein. A bus passed me this morning driving here with your face on it. And I go like, is that Leonard Bernstein on their ads? No, it's you. And at the end of the movie, there's something. I actually had to call one of my friends from Netflix and say, was that Bradley or was that the real Leonard Bernstein they're showing? It was Bradley. And I mean, extraordinary work there, and musically too. The music here is not what you expect. Like, and then I did West Side Story, or then I did that. That's not the movie you were making, but you incorporated all in unexpected ways in different scenes on his Suite from On the Waterfront, all of that.
Yeah, that was a key element. I knew that I wasn't going to make a biopic just because he's the most photographed, video, documented musician maybe of all time. There's no reason to do that. There could be, and many very good documentaries have been made about him. But I did want to serve his legacy musically, and I thought, well, the best thing to do is tell a story that we can relate to, hopefully, and it's all to the rhythm of his music. And so the movie is scored to his music, and that is, to me, the best way that I could then present to you this man's beauty and his gifts.
Yeah, and it really works. It's extraordinary. The Tanglewood scenes are scored with West Side Story.
Yeah, Fairfield, Connecticut. Yeah,
Fairfield,
Connecticut. Dances.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And all of that, and it's amazing. Right down the line, you guys actually got to shoot in actual locations.
We tried to shoot in all the places that, you know, again, this didn't really feel like as much filming as it was a ritual, a sort of a channeling, really. And that was very early on. I could just feel him. I mean, he died in 1990, and I swear I knew him. You know, it really, I do. This movie has messed time up for me. It's spent time, it really has, and he just, there was just, it had to be in the locations, and again, the children, they opened their home to us. That house you see in the beginning that he's walking in the beginning of the trailer, that's their Fairfield, Connecticut home that we see in the 50s in black and white, and then again in color. And so when we walked there, it was just, we were there. We got to shoot in Carnegie Hall, which was just magical. We got to shoot in Ely Cathedral, where he conducts Mahler Symphony, is where Lenny did in the 70s. And some of the orchestra members had played with him, and the harpist, his teacher, was in that performance where the harp was exactly in that place. So it was really just, incredible.
And I have to say, well, our time, they're saying, is up, but I got to tell you, that scene in the cathedral where you're conducting is phenomenal. To watch you do that and get lost in that and do that. You became him. You absolutely, the passion of the music is what comes through.
Yeah.
It's like, how long did it take you to get every movement there? You're directing yourself, but I just...
That took a lot of years, like 6 years of working on it, because conducting is impossible, which I didn't realize. And so it's such a hard thing to know, but you're keeping the tempo and reminding the orchestra exactly the decisions that were made, and at the same time having to digest all of this music and send it back out to the audience. So he really was able to stand in the center of the sun. And then that scene is a story because she's witnessing it. And I had Gustavo Dudamel, who I worked with intimately, and that piece of music, I went with him. He conducted the London Symphony Orchestra at the Hollywood Bowl. I was with him for the entire process. And I went with him to Berlin, with the Berlin Philharmonic for the whole process. And then Yannick Seguin, who is the Philadelphia Orchestra music director in the Met Opera, yes. He was there every day. He was the one who taught me everything. He is part of Lenny in this movie.
Wow. Well, it's amazing, and there's so much when you see the movie. An incredible scene set around the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade with these floats going in the background and this unbelievable argument and just the whole staging of it. Congratulations. It's an amazing movie. Maestro.